Hey everybody, it's Mr. Vance, and today I want to talk to you about modern art. First, I'm using images and paintings that can be found at the Art Institute's online collection, and I'm also using Wikipedia and information from the Museum of Modern Art's website. According to Wikipedia, modern art includes art that was produced or made from the 1860s to the 1970s. The term is usually associated with art that has thrown traditions aside and in the spirit of experimentation. Modern artists experimented with new ways of seeing and with fresh ideas about nature and materials and the functions of art, less about narratives and storytelling and more about abstraction. If you look at these two paintings from the 1860s, you can see that the artists are using colors and shapes in a way that begins to hint at abstraction. The colors and the shapes in these paintings are painted in a way that makes them look more simple. The artists at the time were starting to make paintings that give the viewer an impression of what is going on. Being exact and copying what they were seeing was not as important as playing with colors and form. By the 1870s, you can really see the artist breaking down forms. The fine details of a painting were not as important as the overall feeling you get from looking at the artwork. The details are there, they just aren't the main focus anymore. Look at the detail on the floor and the flowers, the water lilies in the pond. Um, it's not exactly the most detailed, but you can see that it does give you the impression of both. The Museum of Modern Art says the birth of modernism and modern art can be traced to the Industrial Revolution. This rapid period of change in manufacturing, transportation, and technology began around the mid 18th century and lasted through the 19th century, profoundly affecting the social, economic, and cultural conditions of life in Western Europe, North America, and eventually the world, especially the United States. New forms of transportation included railroads, steam engines, and the subway. It changed the way people lived, worked, and traveled, expanding their worldview and access to new ideas. As urban centers prospered, workers flocked to the cities for industrial jobs, and urban populations boomed. Modern art is often called modernism, and modernism is a type of art that, and an art movement that aims to break with the classical and traditional art forms. Notice how these paintings use bright colors, bold lines, and crazy shapes to draw in the viewer. If you notice the yellow, the green, orange, red colors, the turquoise, and teal all become the central focus of the painting. The city is in the background, but it's not something that I'm focused on. I noticed all of the bright colors first, and it just seems to be the theme of these paintings. Modernist painters were playing with lines, shapes, colors, value, textures, and form. By focusing on the elements of art, Modern artists were creating paintings that questioned the meaning of art itself. Artists were questioning what counts as a painting and what can be considered art. By the 1940s, tons of modern artists were painting in complete abstraction. Artists were not worried about making things look realistic or telling stories. And a lot of the art being made that time continued to experiment with all of the elements of art. Again, this has been a brief history of modern art. And of course, you can always go into the different categories of modern art, which I will do in future videos. But for now, thanks for watching. And as always, have a great day.